All right, so good morning, good morning, good morning. We are going to be working on multiplying polynomials today. These polynomials that we're going to be looking at basically mean that we have more than one number that we are going to be distributing through the parentheses. For example, the image below is a square. We need to find the area of a square. Don't forget to find that the area of a square, it is the length of the base times the height. So I'm going to take two of these and I'm going to multiply them together. I know that this doesn't look like a square. It's because of how it got resized as I put it into this. But remember, if it's a square, all the sides are the same size. So I'm going to take, and yes, the parentheses are required, the x plus 2 that we are working with here, and I'm going to multiply it by another x plus 2, which is going to represent my other side that I don't have marked with any kind of information or numbers or anything like that on there. Okay? How do I do this? Well, I'm going to multiply these together by putting them right next to each other in the parentheses. Parentheses open, x plus 2, close the parentheses, open parentheses again for another x plus 2, where I close the parentheses. This could also be written as x plus 2 in parentheses, close the parentheses, where I would then be able to square it with a little 2 above it right there because I'm squaring it. Okay, so from here, I'm going to be able to multiply these together by following a little something something that I call box, or you could even do this with FOIL. Again, I'm keeping the same numbers that I had from earlier here. Either one of these processes are going to work. It's not going to be any different answer that you get, depending on nothing. It's just going to be the same for both. So if I'm going to do the box method, I'm going to take the numbers and letters that I've been given, my x and my plus 2, and my x and my plus 2, and I'm going to write them next to next to these rows and columns of boxes. This is going to be kind of sort of similar to what you guys used to do with alleles in biology, where you would compare what is on the vertical and horizontal components here and kind of combine them together. X times x, since I have an x and an x being multiplied together inside to this box right here, it is going to be x with the squared above it. X times positive 2 is going to go inside of this box here, and x times 2 is going to be 2x. I've got another x times 2 going into that box down there on the bottom. I've got another 2x here. Last but not least, I have 2 times 2, which is going to be 4. From that point, all I got to do is start combining like terms together here. So the first thing I'm looking at is my x squared, and there are no other x squareds. I've got a positive 2x and a positive 2x, and that's going to come with these two right here, both having x's, so I can combine them together. Those boxes that are diagonal like that are always going to be able to combine together. That's going to be 2x plus 2x becomes 4x. Last but not least, that blue 4 is positive, so I'm going to do a plus 4, and that is going to be my answer here. X squared plus 4x plus 4. Same thing is going to happen when I multiply my x plus 2 and my x plus 2 using FOIL. The F in FOIL stands for first. The x and the x both come first when I multiply these in both of these parentheses. I multiply x times x, which is x squared. Then I have O for outer, which terms are on the outer side. X and x plus 2. Or yeah, not x and x plus 2, x and positive 2. When I multiply those together, I get a positive 2x. The inner terms come next, and those are the ones that are in the middle here, which is 2 times x, which is 2x, which I can be adding there. Last but not least is my last terms, the terms that are last here. 2 times 2, which is a positive 4. Once again, I can combine these together. 2x plus 2x is going to give me a total of 4x, So when I do the combination here, I get 4x, and then the x squared and the 4 always get brought down as well. So x squared plus 4x plus 4 you'll get no matter which way you do it. As I solve these, I'm going to be showing you both methods. I'd like for you to follow along on the next two, and the last one is going to be an example. So here, I've got some interesting stuff. I've got 3x plus 4. Again, the 3x gets its own spot. The plus 4 gets its own spot. I've also got the 2x and the minus 1. Once again, when I go to multiply, I'm looking at which two things go to make this box right here. And that is going to be the 2x and the 3x. So when I go to multiply 2x times 3x, 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared. So I get 6x squared. Next, I'm going to take my 2x and I'm going to multiply it by 4. Why? Well, because when I look at this box here, it is 2x on the left side and 4 on top that are multiplying. 2x times 4 is going to be 8x. You're just multiplying the numbers and keeping the 1x that's there. Negative 1 times 3x is going to be negative 3x. And last but not least, negative 1 times 4 is going to be negative 4. From there, I can go ahead and combine like terms together. In this case, again, the negative 3x and the 8x can combine. We're just going to write this down. 6x squared. 8x take away 3x gives me 5x. That's going to be a positive, so it gets a plus sign. And then I get the minus 4 at the end. 6x squared plus 5x minus 4 is going to be my answer here. Same thing's going to happen when I do my 3x plus 4. I cannot even make that fit, and I apologize. 3x plus 4 and 2x minus 1. This is going to be, again, first, what comes first in both of these, and that is going to be the 3x and the 2x. 3x times 2x is going to be 6x squared. O for outer, the outermost terms, 3x and 1 multiplied together, and 3x and 1 multiplied to make a negative 1, to make a negative 3x. My inner terms come next, and my inner terms are going to be the ones in the center. 4 and 2 are going to multiply together, and that is going to be 8, a positive 8, with an x. And last but not least, my last terms, which are going to be my 4 and my 1, which multiply together to give me that positive 4. Once again, I can combine this negative 3x and that 8x together, and I end up with 6x squared plus 5x, because 3 minus 8 is 5, and then again that plus 4 at the end. Personally, I like the box method just a little bit better because I find it to be a little bit more interesting. Okay, so you're going to see on the next one, I went one too far, I apologize, that this is broken down a little bit differently. I've got 3 boxes side by side over here. That's because this right here has 3 terms in it. And I can multiply that. X to the 3, negative 2x, and negative 1 go here. And x and positive 2 go here. And again, I can multiply. X times x to the 3 is x to the 4. Just adding an extra exponent there, just like we're using our exponent terms from earlier. Negative 2x times x is negative 2x squared, because there's 2 x's being multiplied. X times negative 1 is just negative x. From there, I can keep multiplying. I've got 2 times x to the 3, which is 2x to the 3. 2 times negative 2x is negative 4x. And last but not least, I have my 2 times negative 1, which is a minus 2. This is going to be a little bit of a hassle because, again, I'm looking at this and saying, oh, minus 4x and minus x, those can combine, but the 2 to the x3 and the 2 to the x2, those cannot combine. So I'm going to be careful here. X plus 4, or x4, excuse me, x to the fourth power. Then I've got a plus 2x3. Then I've got a minus 2x squared. Negative 4x, take away x, is going to be negative 5x. And last but not least, I have a minus 2 here. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit longer, but it is doable. Notice all these exponents are a little bit different, so do be careful. I gave us a spot to do FOIL here, but FOIL is going to be a lot more difficult in this case because there's more than 2 terms for us to be able to multiply. So these boxes are not going to be given to you on the star. These boxes are things you're going to have to draw. You're going to have to count how many terms you have in each of these parentheses and be able to make your box and structure it in a way that would allow you to multiply them. I know I said I'd give you the last one to do by yourself, but I'm going to go ahead and do it for you because I realize it is a little bit crazy. 2x and a 4. There are 2 of those because of the squared. So again, I got a 2x and a 4 that are being multiplied. If I do 2x times 2x, 2 times 2 is 4, and x times x is x squared. 2x times 4, 4 times 2 is 8. X times nothing else is just x. Once again, 2x and 4, 2 times 4 is 8. X times no other x's is just x. Last but not least is going to be 4 times 4, which is 16. I go ahead and start putting these together, 4x squared. I notice that both of these here are going to be 8x and 8x. Those are going to be combined together to make a total of 16x's, which is positive, which is where that plus sign comes from. Last but not least, plus that 16 at the end, and I'm good to go. I can multiply this doing the FOIL method. 2x plus 4. Ugh, I hate when it does that. 2x plus 4. F for first, so my first terms are 2x times 2x, which is, again, 2 times 2 is 4. X times x is x squared. My outers, 2x times 4 is going to be 8x positive. Again, my inners are going to be 4 times 2x, which is plus 8x. And last but not least, my lasts, which are my 4 and my 4, which is a positive 16. Once again, I can combine those together here with the 8x plus 8x, 4x squared. 8x plus another 8x's makes a total of 16x's, which is positive, so there's a plus sign there. And then I've also got that plus 16 at the end from multiplying my 4 times 4. That's going to be how we're going to be able to multiply these polynomials. I'd like for you to go ahead and begin on your worksheet.